and this presentation will be recorded. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kaylee Robinson. I'm the program specialist for Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Mad, Georgia, and I have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Latrice Roby. She's a program director for Cobb Community Alliance to Prevent Substance Abuse. We're in week 5 in our summer series on prevention. In today's week, we'll discuss what percentages of teens ages 12 to 20 actually binge drink, and that's what we're going to discuss today. But right now, we're going to have our Mad Mission moment, or Mad Mission, discuss Mad's mission.
At MAD, we believe in zero. Zero fathers who aren't there for bedtime. Zero mothers who miss the first day of kindergarten. Zero sons and daughters who never come home. We believe in zero victims of drunk driving. Since MAD's founding, we've made great progress. Drunk driving fatalities declined by more than 50%. All 50 states raised the legal drinking age to 21 and made it illegal for adults to drive with a blood alcohol concentration at or above 0.08. And as of 2016, over half of the country is covered by all offender ignition interlock laws. This is all good news, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough because every year, drunk driving injures 290,000 people. It's not good enough because every year drunk driving takes 10,000 lives. It's not good enough because it isn't zero. But we know that we can get to zero, and it starts with you. When you work with MAD, you're part of the campaign to eliminate drunk driving. The campaign has 4 initiatives. 1. Support more high-visibility law enforcement. If people think they'll be caught, they're less likely to drive after drinking. DUI checkpoints can reduce drunk driving deaths by 17% and are one of the strongest deterrents to drunk driving currently available to law enforcement. 2. Ignition interlocks for all convicted drunk drivers. Ignition interlocks force offenders to provide a sober breath sample before operating their vehicles. This keeps drunk drivers off of the road and reduces repeat DUI offenses by 67%. If ignition interlocks were adopted nationwide, an estimated 1,000 additional lives could be saved each year. 3. Advanced vehicle technology. This is the future of a world without drunk driving. The driver alcohol detection system for safety will use breath and/or touch sensors inside the vehicle to determine if a driver is over the BAC limit of 0.08 and keep the car from moving. Additionally, autonomous vehicle technologies have the potential to eliminate many types of roadway fatalities, including drunk driving. If universally adopted, no more victims will become a reality. 4. Public support. Everyone has a responsibility to help eliminate drunk driving. Thanks to non-drinking designated drivers, taxis, public transportation, and ride-sharing apps, there's no excuse to drive drunk. And buckle up every time. Wearing a seatbelt is the best defense against a drunk driver. When you support MAD and the campaign to eliminate drunk driving, your time, your financial support, your energy will all add up to zero. Because we believe in a hug on the first day of school. We believe in another bedtime story. We believe in no more victims. We believe in zero.
Wonderful message. Next slide, please.
At MAD, we believe.
So, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, we always start with a Mad Mission moment to remind us why we're here and what the work we do. Today's Mad Mission moment is Lauren. Lauren was 16 years old, and she only had her driver's license for 3 weeks when she got behind the wheel, impaired, multiple times, trying to get to multiple parties where she actually crashed into her friend's vehicle and injured him and died on the scene. So today we would like to reflect and remember Lauren in our Mad Mission moment. So could you please, in unison, say her name? Lauren.
Lauren.
Thank you. But before we do that, we would like to go back and actually do a poll to see who's actually on the call. So you see the age polling question, please respond by showing us what age you actually are. Of course, today's mission in week 5 is, of course, what percentages of teens aged 12 to 20 binge drink? So, of course, don't binge drink. Don't let binge drinking ruin your life. Next slide. Okay. As a reminder, as we go through this presentation today, please mute your line, be courteous to your presenters and other guests. And of course, if you have any questions, the chat box is always open and available to anyone. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Remember, we're all here to learn. Why 21 is a legal drinking age? It's bad for your brain. Of course, I think we're all educators and parents here on the call. So look at the ages where you start school at 5 years old. That's usually kindergarten, first grade for most states. That's where we're doing cognitive thinking skills. Everything is repetitive, learning how to tie your shoes, drawing the circle, drawing the lines, things like that. Everything is repetitive at that age. When you grow, preteen brain, look at the actual prefrontal cortex is actually developing. Your executive functions are actually increasing. Now you're at your teen brain, which is usually early high school. Now we're going into transitioning to high school, graduating from high school to college age. So 20-year-old brain, look at that executive function. So as, of course, as you, that's fine.
Brandy.
What?
Are you gonna be at my party?
I don't know. When is it?
Tonight. You gotta come. It's gonna be epic.
How is it gonna be epic?
What do you mean? There's gonna be tons of drinks. My brother's gonna be getting me 2 kegs. Tell me you'll be there.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
Dylan, you paying attention?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what's the answer to my question then?
America?
Wow, okay, I guess you were paying attention.
Hey, Jada, I was just talking to Dylan. Do you know about this party he's throwing?
Oh yeah, I heard about it from Aaron.
Are you gonna go?
Probably not. I mean, we have a game the next day, and honestly, those parties are pretty lame.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of idiots drinking. I don't see the point. Besides, I heard at the last party, a girl drank too much and she puked in the pool.
Serious?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never drank before. I don't even know if I'd like it or not.
Well, from my experience, it's stupid. I have just as much fun sober, and I hear that alcohol can really mess up your skin. I mean, I don't want zits.
Hey, Rachel.
Oh, hey, Brandy.
What are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm eating my lunch.
No, I mean, why are you eating out here on the bleachers?
Oh, that. I like the view. Hey, what are you doing tonight? I think we're going to see a concert.
Wait, are you not going to Dylan's party?
No way. Last time a girl threw up in the pool, all over 2 guys. Drinking sounds dumb, but being thrown up on sounds even worse. Besides, do you know how many calories are in alcohol?
Hey, Zach, you going to the party tonight?
Nah, not after what happened last time. And we have a game tomorrow. You should come.
I might be there.
Cool.
Wait, what happened at the last party?
Man, I was in the pool and Stephanie threw up all over me.
Dudes, so y'all gonna be there tonight? Don't worry, Zach. Stephanie is not gonna be there this time, so you're cool.
Nah, man, I don't think I'm gonna make it.
What about you, Brandy? You gonna be there tonight?
Probably not. I mean, I'm just gonna go to that concert with Rachel, and I'm not really a big fan of drinking anyway.
You don't drink? What do you mean you don't drink? Everybody drinks.
See you, Dylan. Don't get arrested.
So of course, Dylan wants to actually do this behavior, and he doesn't want to be alone. So that's why he continues to ask and ask and ask and ask. So we always tell young people to make the pledge to protect yourself and say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say other things to do. And you know what? I don't want to be a part of this behavior. Next slide, please. So what if I'm not the problem, right? So of course, like Dylan, he wanted to do it with other people. So, but if you realize that Dylan is probably having a repetitive behavior, because you see what happened last year, we want to talk to him. We want to say, okay, Dylan, there's some concerns. And of course, we want to make sure that you are actually following the game plan, of course, for being a successful younger person. So talk to him and say, well, maybe you should talk to someone. Maybe you should, reach out to an adult that you trust to provide resources for you. So we always provide these resources for the young people to say you're not alone. Of course, the Power to Take a Stand is a wonderful evidence-based program, Power of Youth, and we provide booklets if we're in person to all of the students that actually participate in person. So real quick, we want to do another poll. What percentage of young people aged 12 to 20 actually binge drink? Binge drink means a lot in a little bit of time. Wow, 12%. Okay, thank you. As you see, the results are 12% and 50% believe that percentage of young people actually drink 12 to 20 binge drink. We'll talk about that a little bit. Next slide. Latrice, it is your turn to talk about alcohol. Welcome, Latrice, to the call.
Thank you. I am Latrice Roby. I am the program director with Cobb Community Alliance to Prevent Substance Abuse. I manage the Drug-Free Communities Coalition, Drug-Free Kennesaw in Kennesaw, Georgia. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about alcohol. Finish up Kaylee's discussion about binge drinking as well. You can go ahead and click the slide. Alcohol, temporary fun with a lifetime of permanent consequences. That's the title of this presentation today. Next slide. So let's talk about what we already know. Like, we know that alcohol is so in the substance use world, we have stimulants and we have depressants. So what do we think? Alcohol is a stimulant where it makes me feel energetic and moving a lot, or alcohol is a depressant where it slows me down? Alcohol is a depressant. The legal drinking age in Georgia is 21. And alcohol, surprisingly, is the most widely used substance among our youth right now. Probably because a lot of people have alcohol in their homes. It's easy to get, even if you have older siblings or you have older friends. Like those are things that, those are ways that you can get alcohol. In 2017, 7.4 million adolescents ages 12 to 20 reported current alcohol use. Next slide. So let's talk about what alcohol use disorder is. We have binge drinking, we have alcoholism, and we have increased tolerance. So let's kind of match these up. Like, we can go ahead and pull up so let's start with binge drinking. What is binge drinking? Is binge drinking having to drink more to get the same effect? Is binge drinking problems controlling your drinking, continuing to use alcohol even when it causes problems? Or is binge drinking drinking so much within about 2 hours that one's blood alcohol concentration levels reach 0.08? Binge drinking is drinking so much within 2 hours. You can click it. I think it'll well, started the wrong way. All right, so that's okay. So alcoholism, look what alcoholism is: problem controlling your drinking, and increased tolerance is having to drink more to get the same effect. So when we talk about tolerance, it's about our body saying, okay, I got that, I handle that, let's add more. That is definitely, you do not want to have an increased tolerance to alcohol. It is bad, but you need more. It's when your body needs more alcohol to get the same, to fill the same buds, and you keep on stacking it on top of each other, on top of it, and it needs more and more and more. Next slide. So let's talk about the legal limits. So on the last slide, we saw that with binge drinking is having a lot of drinks within 2 hours that increase your blood alcohol level concentration to 0.08 or above. So what does this look like? It looks like about 4 drinks for women. It looks like about 5 drinks for men, and adolescents, for children and adolescents, is 3 or fewer drinks. So a standard drink is about 14 grams or 0.6 ounces of alcohol. And when we say these, a lot of times I know that we hear these numbers and it's like, it really doesn't make sense. What is 4 drinks? What is 5 drinks? What is 0.6 ounces of alcohol? What does this look like? You can go to the next slide. What this looks like. So 12, what is a standard drink? So when going back to the last slide, not going back, but we'll talk about the last slide where it said 4 drinks for a woman. So what is a standard drink size? So if you look at this slide, 1 beer could be a standard drink. 8 to 9 ounces of malt liquor is considered 1 standard drink. A glass of wine, so 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of a shot of distilled spirits. So it's having a shot of liquor, a glass of wine, a glass of malt liquor, or a can of beer. So it takes your body about 1 hour to break down 1 ounce of alcohol. So if we look at, let's talk about this shot, this 1.5 fluid ounces of distilled spirits. So it takes your body about 1.5 hours to clear that shot from your system. So if you think about it, if you are 16 and you're trying to get behind the wheel of a car, first of all, we have 0 tolerance. Let me back up. You shouldn't be drinking if you're 16, but if you are of age and you're getting behind the wheel and driving and you've had a shot of alcohol, it's going to take you about 1.5 hours before that alcohol is out of your system and you can get in the car to drive. Next slide. So let's do some math. So it takes 1 hour to clear 1 ounce of alcohol from the body on average.
Your call has been forwarded.
1 ounce of alcohol equals a blood alcohol content of 0.015. Blood alcohol content of 0.08 equals drinking 5.5 ounces of alcohol, drinking 5 ounces of alcohol equals 5.5 hours to clear from your system. What's the point of all that? The point is it takes a long time for a small amount of alcohol to leave your body. You can click through. So some of the major things we want to talk about are the consequences of underage drinking. We have the 3 Ds: destruction, dependence, and death. And I know a lot of times as youth we think, that's not going to happen to us. It's not going to get there. But you got to realize it's not. Like, it seems fun in the beginning, but a few slides ago, we talked about that increased tolerance where your body says, oh, I got this, I can handle this, so let's go to the next level, give me more. So increased tolerance will lead you to a dependency, which leads to alcoholism, which leads to these 3 Ds: destruction, where alcohol has the potential to cause damage to your body, your relationships, and your opportunities. Dependence, like we talked about. Youth who start before the age of 15 drinking are 6 times more likely to develop alcohol dependence. And then what we don't really realize is that alcohol leads to about almost 5,000 deaths a year from our teen population. Simply alcohol can lead to death. Next slide. I have a little video here from the doctor's show. I love this.
It's a real problem in colleges because you're drinking an obscene amount of alcohol and all the effects of that alcohol may not even be at play until you pass out. You can literally pass out and your blood alcohol concentration can continue to rise if you're drinking hard alcohol like rum, bourbon, other hard liquors like that.
And this is the first time a lot of times the kids turn 21 in college, the first time they've ever had alcohol, so they may not know what their limits are.
They have no clue how much they can consume and what's too much.
And the reason that people die is you have involuntary reflexes that are basically knocked out if your blood alcohol level gets too high. So think about how often you drink a sip of water and you start coughing, oh, it went down the wrong pipe. Well, if your blood alcohol level goes beyond a certain point, that gag reflex no longer works, and so you can asphyxiate in your sleep and die. And I want to show everyone really quickly how blood alcohol concentrations affect your judgment. And why this often happens is because, innocently enough, you may start off, have a drink, and you're starting to feel relaxed. Your intensification of mood. Then you're getting a little sedation. This is where you start to wonder, driving may not be such a smart idea. Maybe after 2 or 3 drinks, you're starting to get impaired motor skills. 0.08 in many places is an illegal level of blood alcohol concentration as far as DUIs. So things are beginning to be impaired. Not really dangerous yet, but I want everyone to focus on this. Significantly impaired judgment. Significantly impaired judgment. You know what that often means? I'm gonna keep on drinking. This liquor, it's not touching me. Often happens in college kids. Then once they get confused, they may even be close to blacking out, but their friends are giving them more and more shots because their friends have impaired judgment. This is where things get kind of scary. Between 0.3 and 0.4, for most people who are naive to alcohol, you can start to lose consciousness. And then beyond 0.4, again, if you're alcohol naive, you can go unconscious. That's how you die. Now, what's crazy is I have seen full-blown alcoholics walking around the ER with levels of 0.4 plus because they're so used to having that much in their system. But a college kid, theoretically, maybe that's the first time they've ever even had alcohol.
And what happened in his story, he kind of passed out, so that people around him figured, oh, he just needs to sleep it off. He needs to sleep it off. Let's put him in the bed and let him sleep it off. check on them in the morning. And that's often the wrong thing to do because, like you said, you lose your gag reflex, your breathing's suppressed, and you can just wake up.
And the people
dead.
around them probably have impaired thought process as well. Like, are they thinking safe? Are they being extra cautious? Probably not.
And let me ask you this as parents. If your children ever called you up and said, you know what, my friend is not responding, we drank too much, I don't think you would ever be upset.
Nope.
You would be there in a heartbeat. So if you cannot get...
I've got that exact phone call, but it was from my daughter's friend. And, wow. But yeah, I'm very thankful that my daughter's friends were around her to say, hey, but you need
Did they
to
call
prepare.
911?
No, she was just on the verge of the passing out aspect. By the time I got there, she was out, and as I was able to check her and kind of help her ride through it. But
new
yeah,
experiences with alcohol, and as long as they know, you call them, there'll be no questions asked. As long as they're safe.
Yes, and I told her, even on that day when she goes to the graduation party, I said, if you need to call me, no questions asked, you call me. And luckily, the phone call
most
came.
colleges have a healthcare facility because if you cannot get your friend to respond to you, they need to be in the emergency department where they can be closely watched, be given IV fluids if necessary, and more importantly, sometimes you need a breathing tube to get you through the night. Otherwise, you will not wake up the next morning.
Let's keep it right here for a second. So that video is kind of powerful, especially since the doctor, I think he's a pediatrician, he had a personal story to tell with it. But I wanted to add a couple of things, like some of the possible, he talked about some of the consequences in there, and particularly in this day and age, I think we need to remember that there's an increase in violence and physical fighting that comes along with alcohol use, particularly in those party settings. It's also associated with a higher risk of sexual assault. So we also have to guard ourselves in that and understand that when our judgment is impaired and when the judgment of the people around us is impaired, it puts us in dangerous situations. You can go on to the next slide. So let's talk about some of the effects on the body. And he talked about some of them, but this is kind of like long-term effects. We're looking at liver disease. When we talk about liver disease, you got cirrhosis or alcoholic hepatitis. So cirrhosis, you hear this a lot where people have cirrhosis of the liver. It's actually scarring of the liver tissue. Then where you talk about alcoholic hepatitis, it's a hepatitis. Anytime you hear that, it's usually an inflammation of the liver, but this is alcohol related. You can also have digestive problems where you have inflammation of the stomach lining or gastritis. Like a lot of people that drink a lot end up having a lot of acid reflux, or heartburn. They feel that coming back up. Stomach ulcers, inflammation of the pancreas, and also a weak immune system. And that's a point right now where, with dealing with this COVID situation that we're in right now, there has been a great increase in people turning to alcohol, which is probably one of the most dangerous things that we could do, seeing that it weakens your immune system and it'll put you at risk. It could put you at risk of it could put you more at risk for contracting the virus where your body just can't fight it off. You can go to the next slide. Other effects on the body, diabetic complications. This is another thing with our country, with diabetes being one of the most widely spread chronic diseases. You can have some diabetic complications along with drinking alcohol as well. So you have the increased risk of having low blood sugar issues, your blood sugar bottoming out. Sometimes that's what leads to people passing out. You can have bone damage, damage to the bone marrow, which is again vital to your immune system. It makes blood cells, heart problems, high blood pressure. Again, hypertension is one of those common chronic conditions that we suffer from as Americans. Heart failure and stroke as well, and an increased risk of cancer, all associated with alcoholism. So at some point, you got to really, you have to really have a conversation with yourself and say, is it really worth it? You know, this temporary buzz that I get, or this temporary euphoria that I get, is it really worth all the damage that it could cause to my body? Next slide. This one is probably my favorite slide because I like the illustration. I often tell kids, like, when you talk about alcoholism or substance use, period, what it does is it hijacks the brain. And particularly when you're in those formative years, and because we're talking about 12 to 20, like when your brain is rapidly laying down all of those messages, when you add a substance to the body, it actually will change the pathways that your brain. So right now we get our euphoria, or we get our dopamine from hanging out with our friends and, you know, being with our family and things like that. But what happens when you enter a substance like alcohol into your system, your body is like, wait a minute, you know, like, I just had that drink and I didn't even have to do all that. I didn't have to go to grandma's house and hang out with my family in order to feel good. I need that. And here you come with the dependency things. Your body's like, I want to feel good again. Give me some more of that. Give me some more of that. So it definitely hijacks the brain. It takes it over and it says, well, you need this substance in order to be able to feel good. Forget everything else. We also have issues with blackouts, memory lapses. People often wake up and they're like, what happened last night? I don't know. And also short-term memory or dementia. People don't understand that alcoholism can lead you to an early dementia. You also have the issues with brain damage, neurological complications, nerve damage, numbness, pain in your hands and feet, and also disordered thinking. Next slide. So what do we think? Like, what is your opinion on underage drinking? Do you think that underage drinking is okay? Do you think that it should? That some people would think under certain circumstances, is it safe if I keep my kids at home and let them drink with me? After all of the things that we just talked about, all of the damage that it can cause, how it can hijack the brain, do we really think it's safe to sit at home and allow our children to drink at home? In your opinion, like, what are some reasons that teens may drink? Why do they drink? A lot of teens will say that their friends drink because they think it's cool. Some of them will say because they want to try it. I even had a teen tell me that she drank because she seen her parents drinking and she felt like it was off limits to her. And she just wanted to try it and feel like she was doing something grown up. What will you do if someone offers you a drink? I like the video that Kaylee played at the beginning where the girl was like, nah, I'm cool, you know, or like the doctor actually talked about his daughter's friends calling him after something had happened. Sometimes you can set up a cold word with your parents in the beginning before anything happened and say, you know, hey, Mom, I really like for you to bring me. Somebody told me one time that they had a thing where if their daughter calls them and says, hey, I want you to bring me some Starbucks, she knows that she needs to get in the car, go where her daughter is, and pick her up. So you don't, if you're in a situation like that, you're feeling uncomfortable, you don't have to be there. You can work it with your parent. You can work out with your parents ahead of time. Like, if I say this means I'm uncomfortable. If I text this means I'm uncomfortable. Come and get me. What advice would you give someone else regarding underage drinking? Think about that. Like, when you are with the school year coming up soon, like when you're talking to your peers about things, and they might say that, some of them might say they've already been drinking, or some of them might say that they're thinking about it. Like, at this point, I'd like for you to have some accountability, to the information that you learned, and be able to share some of the things, like, like, even if you don't feel like you can stop them, maybe having that safe word with your friend, or saying, text me if anything happens, make sure you text me, or let me know where you are, or something, or just sharing with them about the damage that alcohol can cause. How can underage drinking affect your future? The crazy thing, and we talked about it when we talked about Lauren's story in the beginning, is that you could not have a future because of alcohol. Or like we talked about, you can have like sexual assault, you could pass out, you could hit your head. There's a lot of things that can happen as a result of underage drinking. And all of those things can impact your future. It could cause you to get a DUI, which could cause you to, there have been stories about kids who lose scholarship opportunities because they went to a party and they drank and something happened, and now they were going to go to school on a football scholarship or something, and now the NCAA won't let them in. When you have certain things on your record, like, you can't have those opportunities. Do you believe you need alcohol to have fun? Do we all need alcohol to have fun? No, because statistics show that the majority of kids do not drink alcohol. And if I challenge you to think as a teenager, like, if I feel like I have to alter my mental state or dumb down my mental state in order to be around people or to tolerate a group of people, I challenge you to find some other friends that actually stimulate your mind, and you don't feel like you have to be a different person to be around, or dumb down your mind to be around them, or anything like that. What is something else that you can do versus using alcohol? Like, are there sports that you like to do? Do you like to work out? Is there something that you like to engage in online, or some other type of gaming? Or, there are tons of other things. You really do limit yourself, because when you start to drink alcohol, you're going to sit there and it becomes, I'm sitting in this situation. There's only so much you can do while you're inebriated. But when you are sober and you're living a sober life, you really open up the opportunity, or open up the things that you can really do. Next slide. You ain't gotta get drunk to have fun, from the great Kendrick Lamar. Thank you guys for your time today. This was really awesome. Give it back to you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. My quote of the day from you, Latrice, is it really worth it? And so, of course, in week 5, we discussed, what the binge is between 12 and 20. There's so many other things that you can do to occupy your time and your body and your soul. So I appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much. If you have any other questions, please chat away. I'm going to leave this open for about 30 seconds, and then we're going to end the call. Thank you so much. Of course, this is our contact information. We are readily available. Latrice handles Kennesaw, North Georgia, Metro. I'm in Metro Atlanta. Of course, Teresa's down in the coastal region, and we can help you with prevention and awareness for your young people, middle school, high school, and college age. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.